या फिर आप खुद एक ब्यूटिशियन या डिजाइनर हैं, तो यहाँ आप अपने काम को शोकेस करके दूसरों को टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स देते हुए आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। अपना कम्युनिटी में आपको मिलेगा मेंटर्स का एक खजाना और बड़े इन्फ्लुएंसर्स का साथ, जो आपको हर कदम पर 1-to-1 गाइड करेंगे। यहाँ आप ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं अपने फील्ड या इंडस्ट्री स्पेसिफिक ग्रुप्स, जहां आपको ऐसे कई लोग मिलेंगे जिनसे सीख के आप वो गलती ना करें जो वो कर चुके हैं। ऐसे लोगों की जिन्होंने स्टार्ट किया था एज एग्जीक्यूटिव्स एंड आर नाउ सक्सेसफुल मैनेजर्स इन देयर डोमेन्स, जो आपको आगे बढ़ाने में मदद करेगा। यहाँ आपको मिलेगा वो सही डायरेक्शन जो आपकी करियर को नेक्स्ट लेवल ले जाएगा। तो लेट्स अनलॉक योर पोटेंशियल टुगेदर। अपना कम्युनिटी में ज्वाइन करें और अपने सपनों की ऊंचाइयों तक पहुंचने का सफर शुरू करें।
Hey, hi everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us today. So we'll start today's session. If you're attending these sessions for the first time, let's start with a quick introduction. This is part of Apna Community Exclusives. It's a webinar series that we have been conducting for the last couple of months. So we host regular sessions at 7 p.m. on weekdays, like this Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. and between 3 to 5 p.m. on weekends. So we have covered a variety of subjects like AI, spoken English, interview prep, UI, UX, upskilling, etc. The main objective of these sessions is to help you grow professionally, help in the advancement of your career, get better jobs, and also expose you to industry experts who can help you with their experience. So today's session is about enhancing cloud and cyber DevSecOps. For this session, we have Hemant with us. Let me introduce him. He's a cloud DevSecOps specialist and an ethical hacker. His expertise in network and web application penetration testing. Some of his skills include Python, Bash, Jenkins, Terraform, cloud platforms like GCP and AWS. He has few years of experience as a mentor as well. We're really glad to have him with us today. Thank you so much, Hemant, for joining us. Before I hand it over to Hemant, guys, a quick reminder, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box. We'll address your question at the end. We'll also allow you to unmute yourself when the Q&A section is going on. आपका कोई भी सवाल हो, आप चैट बॉक्स का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। अगर आप अपने फोन से लॉग इन कर रहे हैं तो आपको इन कॉल मैसेजेस वाला ऑप्शन दिखाई देगा, वहां पे जाइए, आपको चैट बॉक्स दिखाई देगा, वहां पे आप अपना सवाल डाल सकते हैं। आपको समय समय पे अनम्यूट करने आपको Q&A के वक्त पे अनम्यूट करने का भी मौका दिया जाएगा। आप अनम्यूट करके डायरेक्ट सवाल पूछ सकते हैं। सो हैंडिंग इट ओवर टू यू, हेमंत।
Yeah, thank you, Sid. Hello, everyone. Good evening. So, as Sid mentioned, like I will just quickly start with my introduction. Like as Sid has already introduced me with all of you guys. But yeah, I am Hemant Sahu. I am working in a IT industry since more than 3.5 years. And like from there, I have started my journey as a security engineer, just moving to the cloud security, after that DevSecOps. So like these are the area where I have expertise. So these are the things I am just continuously doing, helping other people, learning new things from you as well. So these are my just basic thing that I just want to introduce about myself. So few things I just want to know from you guys, like if it is better to understand you guys as well. So I just wanted to know, out of all of you, how many are fresh or college student and how many are professional? So accordingly I will deliver my content so it is easy for you guys to understand. So I just wanted to, how many of you are college students and how many are you as a professionals? Yeah, you can use your chat windows. So I feel like most of the college students are here. So we will just accordingly manage the sessions, right? So few things I just want to ask you guys, like if anyone is comfortable with Hindi or English, you can also mention that. I will just try to like convey up both the language where I feel comfortable. But yeah, if in case if you feel stuck somewhere, if you don't understand anything, you will feel free to drop up just a text over that mate only. So we will just communicate and just try to ask questions at the end of the session, so my flow will not break, so it is easy for me to like help you out to understand the things better. So I will start with the quick introduction of the cloud. So hopefully everyone is understood of the cloud, what exactly cloud is, and why it is like a nowadays so like a famous, why people are using that. So basically, nowadays, all things like a application, all the infrastructure is moving to the cloud. Why cloud? Because nowadays the purchasing the infrastructure, on-prem infrastructure is so costly. For an example, for an instance, you are required that 10 cores, 24 gigs of memory, for an instance, for any particular application. In future, might be your requirement get changed, like your traffic will be less or more. So accordingly, you need to manage your infrastructure. But as you have purchased those devices, so you, in case if you need to upgrade it, you need to purchase more device and spend a lot of money. In case your like traffic is downgraded, then you can't sell it out half because you have already purchased it. So that is why cloud comes in a play, where that they are following the policy, pay as much you use. So this is the benefit, like whenever your traffic goes high, you can just add more configuration in your servers. In case your traffic goes down, you can downgrade your configuration, and you only need to pay the amount of infrastructure you are using. So that is the benefit of the cloud. So as of like most of the guys, you are a college student, so you know very well, like there is a multiple cloud provider, but the major market share of the cloud provider is, at the top we have that AWS, then for Azure, and then the GCP. So these are the three major cloud platforms. Basically, apart from that, that is IBM and Oracle. There's a multiple cloud platform, but the major cloud platform is these three only. Like most of around 70 to 80% of the cloud things are owned by this particular three organization only. So these are the basic things of the cloud. So do you guys have any questions till this point? So we will just move forward. Okay, so I will take it as a no. So okay, let's move ahead. So let's break this particular term. What is DevSecOps? So DevSecOps, specifically Dev stand for the developers, Sec is for the security, and Ops is the operational. So why this particular terms come into the play? So previously what happened, like our developers are working, they are just running their codes in their own system and just forward it to the operations team. The major issue when they are forwarding to the operations team, they only provide the codes. So in codes in their local system, they have all the dependencies, everything installed there. That is why they are able to run. But in the operation team, operations guys are not the developers, so they really don't understand the requirements of the program or software to run. So they find very difficulty so run those programs into the server. So that is why Docker comes into the picture, where they just dockerize the whole applications and just provide that build image to the operation guy. So they just need to deploy it. They only need Docker installed in the server, so they can just spin up the whole application just by running a single command. So just fulfilling that particular gap, this DevOps come into the picture, where the particular guy have expertise of the operations as well as the development. So when any developer writes any code or anything, they will just forward it to operations. So instead of forwarding to the operation guy, a single guy manage both the things. So development and operation, both things should be expertised by that particular DevOps guy. Then later on, like as the internet grows wide, like peoples are mostly active on the internet, there is a multiple things are going on, then security comes into the play. So what is basically security is like you have an application or web server running on the cloud or on-prem anywhere, then there is some sort of vulnerabilities issue. Might be you have set your applications with the default credentials, or your SQL instances or databases on a public network with the like a default credentials. So bad guys, what they will do, they will just penetrate your application, they will just run the default credentials there, and they can just get the access of that. What is the lose of and harm of that? So once they get the access of the servers and everything, they will start like a dumping your data, where user privacy is like a gone. So like our data is public. In case if we have some critical databases like a financial, then there is some issues. Might our like Aadhaar card, PAN cards get public, our name. So people are use those data to like a social engineer you. So might be you guys don't aware the social engineering. So I will just give a quick thing. What is social engineering? So like a bad guy just try to pretend to be a authorized person from the bank or anywhere. They will give you these leaked detail to you that will like they will pretend it is legit, and as they are providing the correct details to you, so it makes you to believe that that guy is a real guy, and they will get the OTP and all the current fraud situation that is currently going. So they will get the access of your accounts and all, and they will just transfer the money or whatever they can. So that is the like a one of the effect, and might be you don't believe, but still like there are so technical things are going on, but still in 2024 90% of the cyber attacks succeed through the social engineering only. There is a no technical thing. They get the data from the data breaches, and they will use that data to like make you feel they are legit guy. You believe them, you share the OTP tokens with them, and they get access of your accounts, and they get the money. So this is how they are dealing. So this is a particular thing. So that is why security come into the place. So what security guy do? Before that, we have a specific person required that will handle that particular security. Like a DevOps person is there who just building the applications, porting it to the servers and running it, and just monitoring and just providing the feedback, managing. So these life cycles are continuously running. But there is a security thing come into the place. So what exactly security thing is? When a separate guy needed, so there is another hectic task, like he don't have any like information about who developed it, how it is get developed, what are the steps needed, who operate this, how it is configured to the server. That is why one guy who is specialized with these three terms, like development, security, and operations. So this is called DevSecOps. So today we are like in depth, we are just trying to discuss about that DevSecOps, what basically DevSecOps is, how we are working with the DevSecOps, how people use, how big organization using that to like just save their all the infrastructure, all the application and everything. And my profile is specialized in a Google Cloud DevSecOps. So that is what I am doing in my day-to-day life. So I will just try to help you out with all your queries in terms of technical things. In case if you didn't understand, then I will might helpful for you. You might be also helpful for me, because it is something every day you need to learn new things every day. It doesn't matter how experienced you are. So this is how we are just going to start. So now you know who am I, what I do, what is my professional, what is my day-to-day responses and all. So let's get started. I have some prepared some slides for you. It might be helpful. So I will just share my screen. Hope it is visible. Can anyone can give a confirmation, please?
Yeah, Hemant, it's
Yeah. Sure. Okay. So let's move to the mastering DevSecOps with real world strategies. So we have just learned what is DevSecOps. So Dev is stand for the development, Sec is stand for the security, and Ops is stand for the operations. So these three terms comes together and create a new profile called DevSecOps. And when someone is specified or is specialized in the any particular cloud platform or generic cloud platform, so the profile comes as a cloud DevSecOps. Or if anyone is like particular about any particular platform of the cloud, then it is like for me it's a GCP DevSecOps, where like what we do, we use the GCP's inbuilt security tools in order to like protect our applications and server. So just let's start. So I will move ahead. So introduction to the DevSecOps. So I have introduced you what is DevSecOps. So it is basically we are just protecting our applications, porting into the like the first development. After development, there is a cycle going on. If you heard about it, software development cycles. There is a many cycles or many methodologies that are currently following. Okay, so in a DevSecOps, we have a common, like a common path, we can say we are following. So first one developments goes on, we have a kind of pipeline. Pipeline is nothing but a set of instruction that is running automatically to perform such set of actions. Like first, if developers commit any code on a Git or GitHub, so they will review it, review the commit, review the code, what they have posted, which language it is. They will just do that static code scanning, like what exactly the code is that code or plugins that are used in that particular application is vulnerable. Do we have any vulnerability currently publicly exposed or available? Any exploits are available for that? So based on that, we will get a report. Again, it goes back to the developer. In a first case, okay, so developer will fix it, developer will change the package, upgrade the package, again commit it, same thing goes on. But in automated way, we will come later in automation. And so this is the things, once it is done, everything is fixed, it will move to the second stage. What is the second stage? It is like a development is complete, now security is also completed, because we have done that static code analysis. So where we have just checked the code, like our intentations are correct, the plugins are okay, everything is smooth, everything looks fine. Then we move to the operations. Now what is operations? So if we are talking about the DevSecOps, means like specifically on a cloud platform. So now it's time to port the application. So as I initially mentioned about the Docker, so the next stage, what exactly nowadays happening, we have a Docker file. If you don't aware about the Docker file, definitely you can just Google it. I will just quickly give you an introduction about the Docker file as well. So Docker file is nothing but a set of instruction that is followed or that is accepted by the Docker. Docker is a tool to containerize any application into an image. So we can just port the image. We only need the Docker installed in the server system. So it will just click on a command, it will spin up our applications. We do not need to manually install any packages, any dependencies. So how it works? So basically, once it comes, it will just start like these two phases are completed, development is done, security is done. Not complete security, it's a initial, like a static code analysis. We move to the operations term. So in our operations, what it will do, it will start building the images, right? For an instance, we are taking the example, we have a simple Linux server, Docker installed in it, and we just want to port our application in that server. Because like there is a many thing I want to teach you or want to get you know, but the issue is like a time is limited. If I go to any specific technology, it will take around hour to complete or more than that. That is why just take the instance, we have a Linux server, we need to just deploy our Docker image there. So what happened, Docker like a Docker file have a set of instruction, like a which base image is required to run that applications, set of commands that needs to be installed, dependencies, run the application, expose in which port, everything is there. So once that set of instructions get followed, so it will at the output, we will get an image. And the best part of it, we will not getting the image of size 10 GB 50 GB, because if you see, if we are just running any server installing a single application size is 100 MB, but that operating system size is like a 10 GBs, because it's a base minimum requirement to run any operating system is a huge packages are required. So what Docker will do, it will choose a base image. What is base image? The minimum required packages that needed to run any applications on the server. So that is why it will just comprise the whole size into like if you have very simple application, so it might be take only 100 or 200 megabits MBs to run that particular application. It will only take that much of size. So it is very portable. You can just port it. It's a 200 or 300 MB. For that any complex application, it goes max up to 1 GB. In case if you use that same application on a server, so it may take 60 to 70 GBs. So that is why we have getting at the output, we are getting that Docker image. In that Docker image, we have in a pipeline some set of instructions. Once this particular image generation part is completed, we will move to the deploy it to the server. Now again security comes into the place. In that pipeline, we have again Docker image scanning is there. In a next stage, we will scan our image by providing some tools, inbuilt tools, or some sort of tools that is by third parties or GCP itself. So we can just check the vulnerability exists into the container. Now we have seen our all the vulnerabilities are resolved in the development phase, but there might be possibilities the base image. For an example, Ubuntu Slim we are using. So in that particular image, what in case there's some recently vulnerability found, their exploits are available, but we are not aware of that. So in this particular stage, it will check the whole Docker images. It will perform some actions and run some set of instructions, and it will get to know like how many vulnerabilities are associated with that particular image. If it exists, how we can resolve that, and they will just move to the next stage back to the operations. These are the set of issues that is with the Docker images, and these are the instructions how we can fix it. What are the CVE? So CV is nothing but common vulnerability scores that we just at the point of 10. Like a 10 is highly exploited or highly issued, and one is very low. So according to that, we will manage it. We will again fix our Docker images. Might be new update is available for that. So we will choose that updated image where image is secure. So we will just again operate it, again create a Docker image, move to the deployment. Now again operations, back to the security to the again operations. In our operation phase, we will move to that our servers. In that server, we are just deploying our applications. But if again, I will just quickly give you an overview. If you're running any server, it's either Linux based or either RDP, like a Windows based. There are some common ports that are opened. ICMP, that is checking the availability of any particular server or via internet. Second thing, there is a SSH for Linux and RDP for the Windows. So in case if our these ports are open to the public and also our server is public, like available on a public IP, then there is a highly chances of exploitation. Your application is secure, your Docker image is secure, but now there might be possibilities your servers where you are just porting your applications are infected by any such vulnerabilities or any issues. So anyone who just get the IP address of your server, they can just hit the request. If you heard about the DDoS attacks, they continuously hit the request like 1,000 requests per second. So it will overload your server and your server will not able to fulfill the request. So that is why what we will do for the best practice, our next security stages, we will check is our server public or private. So best part of it to protect it from the any source to using the firewall and the segregate network. So in firewall, basically we can just define which IP ranges or which particular IP can hit the port or which port are we able to allow outside people to any specific port or any specific applications to the server. So these things can be configured and controlled by the firewall. So again, firewall is like a kind of wall between the outer world, even inner world, and the application, your server. So it is a wall between that. So it will just allow and deny the traffic. It is just blocking the network communication from and to the server. So that is the work of the firewall. So once firewall is checked, everything is fine. It will just port our application just by the Docker run and spin up the instance. It will export the port and at what port that particular service is running, and everything going in this way only. So now we have development, security, again development, security. Now comes to the operation. Now back to the security. Now again come to the operation. Now this part is completed. Now our application is hosted on the server. So this is how this DevOps cycle is working on. So this is how we are just moving from writing a code, checking the issues, security checks, vulnerabilities scores, And these are things, the if you remember I told you static code analysis. So there are so many kind of scans are like majorly static and dynamic. So in a static one, what happened, like it will analyze only the code. In a dynamic one, it will analyze the applications while running into the server. So we will come to that part later. So this is the basic cycle that is currently going on in any of the organization. If you choose biggest organization like a Google, Microsoft, so they will follow this particular strategy to port any applications to the server, running into the server, how they are maintaining the things. So now this part is completed. Now let's move to the next slide. I guess I am out of context. Now we have understand the DevSecOps, right? So this is still the pointing the things or porting our applications to the server. So now next step, what we will do, we will just start analyzing our traffic. So even we have ported our application 1 month back for an instance, and then next month there might be some vulnerabilities in a that particular image that we used into Docker. At that time there's a no vulnerability, but yeah, in a next month there's a no new vulnerabilities that comes into the picture, into that particular image that we have used. Or there is also some chances where some of the dependencies or some of the plugins that we used in our applications are also vulnerable. So there are highly chances like a bad guys can send a malfunction request. What is malfunction request again? So malfunction request is something where we have a request urls. In that request url, the that bad guy just introduced some malfunctions string like SQL injection, XSS, all these things, and just send it to the server. So server will receive it, and due to the malfunctions URL, it's behave just strange. It will give some random outputs, and it will expose many things. So that is a serious issue. So for that, what happened in a security context, this is a continuous pipeline that is running. Even your development and operations stop, not the stop, but that is not continuous, because once development done, operations done, applications in its place like in a server, but security is continuously working. These things happen. Now we have a ADR, endpoint detection system, we have a firewall logs, we have network traffic detector, everything is going there. So now our main work is we have a configured or taking the sync of the logs into that EDR system or network endpoint detection system. So IDS basically introduction, then it will detect or it will read the logs, it will detect any anomalies if there is a malfunction request. It will give a quick overview on the dashboard in the real time, we are receiving this sort of malfunction string from this specific IP, and it is reaching to our applications. So these things are continuously going on. So this is how we will continuously monitoring up our applications, our request, our network traffics. So what requests are coming, what is going, its origin, its destination, what are the requests, what are the responses. So these things are happening. So this is just a IDS detection system. Then we have IPS also there, intrusion prevention system. So what it will do, when it will see immediately some malfunction request comes, they are working in some kind of configuration like a signature based and all. So this is some AIML models that are running behind, so that is too high view. So just take it it's just a AIML model that is just detect the signature of any URL that is coming from the to the server, read it, detect it. In case if signature matched, it will block all the traffic from that particular specific IP or a specific origin. It will block all the requests. This is how it will prevent our server from the infections of any security issues. So that is why security continuously revolving around our whole life cycle of the product, application management. So these things happening, we have learned that IPS and IDS. So these things continuously going. IPS, they will prevent our applications for any such issues. IDS, just for analyzing, because there is a highly chance of false positive, false negative as well. So there is some chances. That is why we will keep this dashboard updated. We will check what like a request comes, we will analyze it, and according to that we will just update our models. Like we can just mitigate the false positive and everything. This is how we manage. That is IDS also important. So this is how firewall network thing, IDS IPS works. So these are the things. At the network level, we have another things, that is like we can say cloud armor, we can say Cloudflare. So what they will do, in case if any number tons of requests coming from any specific origin to the server, it will block it immediately. And for your information, as I remember, like a last in a last 6 months, a Cloudflare handled around 10 million requests per second to protect the application. Same goes with that cloud armor. Cloud armor is a product of GCP, and that Cloudflare is a product of the AWS. So how this is working in the L7 load balancer 7, or we can say network's seventh layer, to protect our applications from the DDoS attack. Okay, so these are the things. So let's move to the next. So why do we actually need of the security? So initially, from the like in a very beginning, I told you why security breaches is like a so critical. Like in bad guys get your data from the breaches, they will purchase it, they will use that data to like a social engineer you. If you heard like in case most of you, if you are belongs to the IT, then you should know the Telegram and all, where you have some like connected with the some of the channels, you where you get to know like these are the leaked data. If you want to buy, you can purchase it from the this and this amount. So there is a so many breaches are going on. So these things are publicly available. Bad guys are basically selling it to the some organizations, some particulars. They will use it for the social engineering. Apart from that, for the business perspective, any security breaches, like a companies, any organization that are running in a high level or like open to the world, they have some compliances that needs to be followed. They need to secure their customers data, everything is there. To prevent their reputations and everything, they also need to follow that. Because in case if I am a customer of SBI and my data, like my PAN card, Aadhaar card is like open to the public, then there is a sort of chances that social engineering is also happen to me. And also like there's a many things apart from that financial. If we have medical issues, like all like as IT is moving so fast, everything is like on IT itself. So that is why once it has come to IT, what happened, like medical is also like a dealing in IT, like all the reported are automated, everything is updated in the into the hospital portal where patient need to log in, they will get their reports from there. So what happened, if I have any issues with any particular guy, I will hack the system, I get the medical issues. For an example, I get like he's a diabetic, he has some asthmatic attacks. So I will just try to replace those things, like I will replace their foods by some like a uh, non-diabetic thing, like a sugar and all. So he might like I can harm him basically. So I will use that data to harm any particular people. So that is why the securities are very important for the any organization that are dealing currently with the global customer. Even a small organization needs that. So that is why there is a lot of law that organization needs to follow, lot of compliances, everything is there. So that is why we really need of security. For just take an example of real life, if you have a lock that you use in your main door, if it have a multiple keys, right? So anyone is like just come use their keys, your like a lock is accepting the universal keys, anyone can just open it. So it is just a myth. You have attached lock, you have think like it is locked, no one can just get into my room or into my home. But that is lock itself vulnerable, it is easily opened by any of the keys. So it is like a security issue for you, like anything can be happen in your home. So that is why we need really need security for nowadays. As internet get broader, more security concerns come, and more you need to get attention of it. Hope you understand. Now let's discuss the key components of the DevSecOps. So we have learned that things like a revolving, we are just continuously revolving about the security, development security, operation security, security. So security is our heart. It is continuously working, it is not stopping. From very beginning, from the development to the process, everything is security is there. In every step, security performances get measured, what are things are going, what traffic is coming, is the application is secure, how firewall is working, it is really blocking the request or not. So these things are going on. So this is basically components that we talk about. So we have a different thing. So let's say we have automations. In that particular automations, we have a set of a script that we use particular script to run the automatic pipeline, where it will automatically say if any particular issues exist or matches to our condition, it will run the set of the instruction that we follow. So these are the components that we use on a DevSecOps to continuous learning. If we particularly talk about the DevSecOps tools, there is a lot of tools. You guys must be aware of OWASP if you are in a IT or little bit in a security. So it is a open foundation. So that foundation is particular OWASP foundation, they are maintaining the databases of what, if what vulnerability exists, what are going on, how is that publicly exploits are available, what is their vulnerability score, CVE number, everything is there. And they have some security tool called ZAP and different tools where we use to static analysis of our code and applications. So lot of things provided by there. So there is a Snyk is also a security protocol, that like a tool, third party tool maintained by Snyk only, and that we use for statically analyzes our code and provide us a report. So these are like a multiple tools. If you check, then you can get started with the OWASP. And also with the OWASP top 10. Top 10 is nothing, the top 10 vulnerability that is exist in that current scenario or current market. So these are the things. So let's move to the real world strategies of the automation. So why basically we are doing that? Of course everyone just want to get rid of the AI, but yeah, a meme that is trending, AI can't replace you, a person using AI can replace you. So exactly, that is true, because AI is really helpful for us, because many things, many error that is human prone, human can make mistake, of course they can. The profit of using AI or automations, they have a set of instructions, they will definitely follow that instruction, and according to those instructions they will figure out what's the issue, if issue is there or not. For an example, I have forget to block the IP, a publicly accessible port 2022, that is for the SSH. But in our automations, it will check if that particular port is blocked or not. If not, it will immediately give us an warning and immediately allow us to connect to the port 20, like a block to the port 2022. That is why automation comes into a place, and automation just remove that 90% headache from us. We are working, in case if we are out for some time, if there is any issue comes, then if we have some automations in place, then it will automatically get fixed, and it is continuously working. There's a no hamper of availability. But if it is completely dependent on us, there might be possibility we lost internet, we lost electricity, and due to our unavailability, that a process is uncompleted, application failed, and there is some business serious issues and all. If you remember last year, a Bangalore employee is stuck in a traffic for 2 hours, and they around lose 200 crores of value for their organization. So that is why that automations is really important, and definitely AI is not a threat. We can use AI and we can grow ourselves. We can get the help of the AI to learn the things, read the things. We can use of AI chat GPT to make our work easy. So we can use in a such a way, and everything is a pros and cons, it's up to us how we are using that, right? So these are the things. Like for advanced analytics, everything we are using AI only, because as I mentioned, AI ML models initially for the IPS and IDS. So once we just add those rules, it will automatically train their own models to learn the things by every day. If any new vulnerability comes, they will automatically detect the signature, update their models, update their IDS, IPS policies, and it will block the request immediately. So that is why, without any downtime, without any time gap, it will be automatically get analyzed. And due to that analytics, it will just update their model, update all the security rules, policies, and it will block some issues that is currently just new in the market or newly evolved. So these things can be handled by like using AI ML or automations. And this is we can just monitor from the IDS. And there is a lot of third party tool then we can use for monitoring and all. Like if you heard about that Splunk and Grafana, Prometheus, there is a lot of tool that we can use. So if we talk about that collaboration, definitely it is important. As a DevSecOps guy that is working, in case we have automations in a place, like if it will reject once the code is like a fail to pass the vulnerability checks and all, and some intention or some ideal scenario, it will get to the developer. But developer is committed, like, it's not an issue, application is working properly. So due to that lack of collaboration, there is a so many security issues might be there. So might be developer don't want to change their code, or might be he's not aware of that particular vulnerable code is like a ported to the server that is running continuously, and there are sort of attacks there. Business logic is dubbed, business logic is gone, everything is gone, security is zero, and customer lose its privacy, company lose its reputation. So that is why collaboration is the most important thing. And in a DevSecOps cycle, we are managing this with the DevSecOps guy, a single guy who's managing the all the three necessary part: development, security, and operations. And if they have a diverse team of that, then definitely it required the collaboration for this particular. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of tool that is available for the DevSecOps. So you can use those tools for any specific need, like what you want. You want to do the code scanning, you can use Snake. There is so many GitHub actions are already available where you just need to use that particular actions, run that actions, provide your code. It will do a job within a minute. You do not need to write 100 lines of code to statically analyze your code, because it's already available, provided by the Snake. And as it is like a maintained by the organization, open source organization, and any third part organization, so it is like a highly trusted, we can trust them. So using those tools for dynamic analysis, we use Zap, OWASP Zap. And apart from that, we can use a burp suite, a port swiggers tool that is used by like a 90% of the ethical hacker. They use this particular tool to dynamically analyze any applications. So that is like a really helpful. We have a lots of plugins, extensions there. Based on the request response, it will analyze signatures, everything, give you a quick dashboard. What are the issues that exist on that particular applications, what's are going on, everything is there. You can just change the request, change the response, lot of things that comes with the burp suite. So these are some sort of tools for the monitoring. Splunk you can use, Grafana you can use, Prometheus you can use. And some organization use their own tools. They build their own tools and use their own tools to just read the data from the logs, just create a dashboard, learning the things, train their models. And these are the things just happening. So these are the some security organization that is doing that. So these are the things. Just moving to the next. So okay, so we have some sort of case studies, like how we can successfully implemented our DevSecOps pipeline, where like that is ensure us like our this particular pipeline is fully up to date with no issues, where we can start with our development and with the security operations continuously business running, no issues are there, everything is there. So that is why we are just checking like how we can implement our DevSecOps so we can just mitigate the risk of the security from the world. Like these things, I have some case studies. Definitely, I love to share with you guys. Like there's a lot of trusted organization who lost their issues due to just collaboration and the implementation of the security measure. If you are a IT guy, you then definitely know about the CrowdStrike. These things happen with them, guys. Like they are just used their own DevSecOps pipeline without checking or without checking the issue or without just testing. They just release it for the production, and blue screen of death, it happened. It gets like a global outage for that Windows system because they didn't perform any test, didn't perform any security things, and they directly just push it to the prod. So these kind of issues can happen. You can imagine it, like how it can be manageable. In a world people are using Windows system, they fail like a global outage. They are failing that. There's a many organization, many server that is running at the top of the Windows. They are all down. Like you won't believe, in like I am traveling at that time. So even at that time, that flight tickets are just handwritten. Like a first time I have seen handwritten flight tickets. We are like receptions and the flight attendants, they are giving you ticket, just writing over there like this is your seat number, this is your PNR, everything. So these kind of things happen if you not properly implemented your DevSecOps pipeline. So we have some sort of challenges in our DevSecOps, and NAM is specifically you check the names. So it is not just a development, it is not just a security, it is not just a operation. Because when it is separate, you have a very less, not a less, but you have a defined boundary. You have to learn till this point. You have to just grow in this particular way. But when it comes to the DevSecOps, then you have a three things that is all together. You also need to learn, understand the DevOps, like a sorry development. It's a like a cycle, how we manage that development process, how we can maintain it. In a security, what kind of tools we choose, because in a third party tool we have a lot of money that need to pay. So based on our requirement, we can choose which tool is necessary for it, and how we can also save the cost, how we can secure our applications, we can secure operations cost, how we can deal it with. So there is a lot of challenges, but the most important challenge is you need to learn all these things. You have expertise on these all three things, how you can manage that. The major tool that is used is Terraform for the automations, specifically infrastructure automations, where you can create an infrastructure. You must know the some scripting languages. Python, Bash is very popular and very important language to use, because 90% of the servers are Linux server, and widely accepted languages are Bash, because Linux is written top of the Bash only. So it is acceptable, it is easy to understand. So that is why Bash is important. Python is also, and in a few years, so Go is also one of the top language that is like now it's a free source, open source, but before it was like developed by the Google itself. So it is also like getting attention from the DevOps guys, DevSecOps guys, to automation, because it is very lightweight and easy syntax. So Go is also there. If you move to that containerization, Docker is already there, Podman is there. There's a lot of tools that is available for containerization. If you go to the orchestration, then we have a Kubernetes, vast tool. If you just focus on the Kubernetes, there is a lot of things that you need to learn. So these are the set of tools that we need to learn. At least we should know the basics. So there is a basic challenge that we feel in the DevSecOps. So these are the issues. If you see that future of DevSecOps, so you can see like a DevSecOps is also necessary to building the AI models, machine learning models. Why? If you heard, if you see the security context, even chat in a chat GPT, if you see, they give us a warning: don't use your private or security data or critical data to chat with the model, because these particular chats might be used to train their model. So for an example, if you provided your ATM password and everything there, there is a highly chance if they use their your chats to train their model, to serve you better, but it is as a publicly available. There might be some query that will give your password, your ATM details to the user, not exactly you, there might be some other user. So there is a lot of security risk. So that is a good future in a DevSecOps, because even in a rising AI ML, you need to follow that DevSecOps cycle, and you need to manage that in a such a way that everything is a secure, because even AI, Gemini, everything is given the same security consent. Like, you don't use your personal data or any like anything that is like a threaten, or that is like a very critical. So these are the things. So there is a good future of the DevSecOps, we can say. So conclusion, we come to the conclusion. You already, I have given you the quick overview of the DevSecOps, its life cycle, how we manage, what we do in our day-to-day life as a DevSecOps engineer, what tools and technology we can learn or we should know, how we can use that. Everything is there. So like we have a limited time, we have a variety of things that needs to be touched. There might be some other time we can definitely connect, but yeah, I guess this is, as most of the people from that college students or early professionals, so this is too lot for them. So they can just what I can do, I can provide the link of my PPT. I will send it to the Sid, so he can also provide it to the you. In case if you found any issues, any terms, anything that is difficult for you, definitely you can reach me out via LinkedIn. I will try to answer you guys. Like, if you need any kind of help, support in this learning the things, if I know, I will really love to assist you. So anything it comes to you, you can go to me. So this is all I have. So if you have question before this particular thing, I have some quick POC for you to make this particular session more interesting. So here in this particular section, just consider, I have just forked this particular repo for any application that is managed by the OWASP, that is a DVWA. Its full form is Damn Vulnerable Web Application. It is already vulnerable, right? So I have like a fork it. I have created a separate branch that is named with the Apna DevSecOps. So here what I have did, we have this particular code. In this code, this is a high vulnerabilities that is associated with this code. If we just do the static code analysis dynamic, we have the cross-site scripting, SQL injection. Quick overview about this application is this is written on a Python. It is using MySQL 8 point something. So this is highly vulnerable. They have a default credentials, everything. So for that, I have maintained a small DevSecOps workflow, or we can say pipeline. So in that pipeline, what are the steps? So let me walk you through first the code. It's just a simple code, you might be understand. This is a YAML format. So simply it's, I have defined the name. Its name is a simple DevSecOps pipeline for damn vulnerable web application. So these are the events, like on which event, on the push event, in which particular branch, on the Apna DevSecOps branch. So in case if anything happened on the push event, on branches of the Apna DevSecOps, then this particular pipeline get triggered. So here we can control when we want to trigger our pipeline. So we can define here our jobs, like a what kind of jobs we just want to run. So we have a few steps that we are basically running. In our very first step, we have a security scan. In this particular scan, what we are doing, we are just running on the Ubuntu latest. It is a base image. These are the runners. We can say, you can just Google about the cloud, like a GitHub runners, you will get more context. This is basically a machine that is we are deploying. In this particular machine, our steps is we are checking out the code. So that runner is running in a separate environment, not into the GitHub only. So there we are checking out our code. So all the code is in open, our current directory is just like a clone to the our this particular runner. Once it is gone, then we set the PHP, as our code is in a PHP. So it will set that PHP again. This particular runner, this is a runner that is already present into the GitHub Actions marketplace. That is a free, something is paid based on the availability and use cases. That is why I mentioned you do not need to write 100 lines of code. That is already available, and that might be 100 or 1,000 lines of code, but is available to use just by a single line. So you are using the setting of the PHP. So we have just defined the PHP version. This particular stage set our PHP on our runner, that Ubuntu machine. Okay. So next we are just installing the dependencies. So these are the command we use to install all the dependencies that is required by the applications. In the next stage, we are securing our code. We are doing the static security scans of our code. So there is a tool called SamGraph. It will use to like a check if we have any issue associated with our code that is written. So it is particularly scanning our code. In case it is vulnerable, it will give us a report. This is the vulnerability associated with your code. This is the output. This is summary, vulnerability score, how you can fix it. Everything is there. In a second step, we are building. Once it is done, in case if it is not failed, everything goes fine. So we will move to second step. Otherwise, if it is failed, then pipeline will be failed. In the next step, we are just building our images, as I mentioned, Docker and all. For putting it into the server, we are building that. So again, we have taken a Ubuntu machine. We are just doing the security runs, associated security runs. We can define some runs. If we want any specific set of instruction that we need to check, we can just define here steps. Again, we have checked out the like a code. Here we can just build the application by providing a set of rules. I haven't provided anything because I just need to provide a POC. But if you want, you can configure it. I will just provide this particular GitHub link that is public in my account. I will share it with you. You guys can check, run the. You might be not be able to run the pipeline, but you can understand, and you can fork it if needed. This particular branch, that Apna DevSecOps, and you can try it. If you find any difficulty, you can reach out to me. Also, like in a last stage, we have a notify Slack stage where we are just setting the notification to the Slack. So in case if this ever both two stages failed, any of the single stage get failed, we will get a real-time notification on a Slack. Just I want to show you the output of my pipeline. So if you see, there is a two stage, one done, then second run. Then here is the security scan. So it's first the starting the job. You can see the output here. It will start preparing Ubuntu machine, everything. It will check out the code. It will just clone the whole code in our runner. You can see. And now we have set in the PHP has written over the command on our like a pipeline. The main important part is security scan. If you check the security scan, so initially it will check all the things, and if you just check it, so you can see we have a PHP rules, files, everything is there. If you see warnings, what are the issues, what is the vulnerability that is exist with there, you can just read these particular logs, so you will get more idea. So these are the findings that is already listed. If you see, just pick up this one, lang security injection trend, file back trend, file name. So I am not good at the like a PHP. So any PHP guy can easily understand. They have a link, details of this particular vulnerability, how we can fix it. Everything is there. So you can see 48 vulnerabilities already present into the code before moving to the production. So these are the things that we get in a next stage. We can check the build. So in build, we don't have nothing because we haven't built, we haven't ported our application to the server. That is why that section is open. So this is just notification Slack is not triggered because these none of these steps are get failed. So this is a just quick POC. You might understand how it works. So this is all. Thank you. This is Hemant. Hope you enjoy this particular session and you might get some idea about it.
Thank you so
Handing
much.
over to you, Sid.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we run out of time. Uh,
Exactly.
no worries, but I think it was very helpful. I think one of the most thoroughly researched and thoroughly presented session. So thank you so much for all the efforts. I think it not only helped the guys who attended, but also people who will be watching this in the recording. It will be
Sure.
very helpful for them. So, guys, with that, we have come to end of today's session. Again, thank you so much, Hemant, for joining us and for sharing your expertise with us.
Sure.
Uh, yeah, guys,
Thank you, Sid. for
Sure.
inviting me for the wonderful session.
No worries, no worries. Like you mentioned, we'll definitely have you back in the following months so that you can, we'll have a more open session where they can discuss, they can watch the recording and get back to you with the questions so you can
Sure.
discuss that. So we'll plan. Guys, please do fill the feedback form, and also you can visit the Apna website for this recording and also the recording of any previous sessions. Like I mentioned, we have these sessions every day. Tomorrow we have at 7 p.m. Hope to see you all there. Have a great evening. Once again, thank you so much, Hemant. Uh,
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Sid. In case if you have any doubt, I will share my GitHub repo, everything there. You can just connect me via LinkedIn. You can directly ask me any questions if you have particularly regarding this particular session or openly any related to IT. If I know, definitely I love to assist you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.